Convenience is often described as progress. A quieter life. A smoother path. Less friction between intention and result. It promises to save time, reduce effort, and remove unnecessary difficulty. And in many ways, it succeeds. Food arrives without cooking. Information appears without searching. Transportation requires no planning. Communication demands no waiting. Modern life is built on the removal of friction. Yet something subtle happens when friction disappears. Not immediately. Not dramatically. But gradually, almost invisibly. This is a story about what convenience takes in return. 1. Convenience as an environment, not a tool. Convenience is no longer something we use. It is something we live inside. In the past, convenience was occasional. A shortcut. A labor-saving device. A small improvement layered on top of effort. Today, it is the default condition. Doors open automatically. Algorithms decide what we see. Systems anticipate needs before they are consciously felt. We no longer encounter convenience as a choice. We encounter it as an environment. And environments shape behavior more powerfully than intentions ever can. When effort is optional, the mind adapts. When waiting is eliminated, patience atrophies. When difficulty is outsourced, problem-solving weakens. This is not a moral failure. It is a neurological one. 2. The disappearance of waiting. Waiting used to be unavoidable. Waiting for food. Waiting for responses. Waiting for outcomes. These pauses were not empty. They were formative. Waiting trained the brain to tolerate uncertainty. To delay gratification. To regulate emotion. Today, waiting is treated as a design flaw. A loading screen is unacceptable. A delayed reply feels rude. A slow process feels broken. The brain learns quickly. When waiting disappears, tolerance disappears with it. Research in cognitive psychology shows that patience is not a personality trait. It is a skill. And like any skill, it degrades when unused. The modern environment rarely exercises it. As a result, discomfort feels sharper. Delays feel personal. Uncertainty feels threatening. The mind becomes calibrated to immediacy. 3. Focus in a frictionless world. Focus thrives in resistance. To concentrate is to push against distraction. To stay with a problem is to endure mental friction. Convenience removes friction by design. Information flows endlessly. Tasks autocomplete. Recommendations replace decisions. Each micro-convenience fragments attention just slightly. But the cumulative effect is profound. Focus becomes shallow. Attention becomes reactive. Thought becomes interrupted. The mind is no longer trained to stay. It learns to scan instead of settle. To skim instead of engage. To switch instead of persist. This does not feel like a loss. It feels like efficiency. But efficiency is not depth. 4. The illusion of time saved. Convenience promises time. But time saved is not time preserved. It is time reallocated. The minutes saved by convenience rarely become meaningful rest or deep work. They are absorbed by additional inputs. More content. More messages. More obligations. Convenience compresses tasks, but expands expectations. Because something is easy, more is demanded. What was once sufficient becomes minimal. What was once optional becomes required. The result is a paradox. Life becomes easier, yet feels faster. Tasks become simpler, yet feel endless. Effort decreases, yet exhaustion increases. 5. Problem solving without problems. Problem solving develops through struggle. Not extreme hardship. But manageable difficulty. When a system solves problems before they arise, the mind loses opportunities to practice. Navigation apps remove spatial reasoning. Autocorrection removes linguistic precision. Recommendation systems remove evaluative judgment. Each assistance is minor. Each removal seems harmless. But problem solving is cumulative. It depends on repeated exposure to uncertainty, error, and correction. When these are filtered out, the mind becomes dependent on external scaffolding. Without it, even small challenges feel overwhelming. 6. The subtle erosion of agency. Convenience often replaces choice with automation. This feels liberating at first. No decisions. No planning. No effort. But agency is exercised through choice, not its absence. When systems decide for us, the muscle of judgment weakens. We become better at consuming outcomes than creating them. Over time, this shifts identity. From actor to operator. From problem solver to user. Life feels smoother, but thinner. 7. Emotional regulation in a low-friction world. Emotional regulation develops through exposure to mild stressors. Small frustrations. Minor delays. Unmet expectations. Convenience removes these stressors. When discomfort is eliminated, tolerance does not increase. It decreases. This creates a fragile emotional baseline. Minor inconveniences feel disproportionately irritating. Unexpected effort feels unfair. Resistance feels exhausting. The emotional system becomes optimized for comfort, not resilience. 8. The normalization of cognitive offloading. Cognitive offloading is not new. Writing things down. Using tools. Delegating tasks. But modern convenience externalizes not just memory, but thinking itself. Decision-making is outsourced. Evaluation is automated. Exploration is guided. The mind becomes less active, more reactive. Thinking shifts from generative to consumptive. This does not reduce intelligence. But it narrows its use. 9. Convenience and the loss of boredom. Boredom once served a function. It created mental space. It encouraged reflection. It sparked creativity. Convenience eliminates boredom efficiently. There is always something to do. Something to watch. Something to check. Without boredom, the mind rarely wanders. Without wandering, insights diminish. Creativity becomes scheduled instead of spontaneous. 10. The professional cost of ease. In professional environments, convenience accelerates output. Templates. Automation. Instant communication. But it also compresses thinking time. Decisions are made faster, not deeper. Responses are quicker, not wiser. The expectation of immediacy becomes cultural. Slow thinking appears inefficient. Deliberation feels indulgent. Yet complex problems require friction. They resist convenience. 11. Convenience and the decline of skill mastery. Skill mastery requires repetition, correction, and effort. Convenience shortens the learning curve by bypassing struggle. But struggle is where skill embeds. When tools do the work, understanding remains superficial. This creates a generation of competent operators with fragile foundations. They can function efficiently until systems fail. Then capacity collapses. 12. The psychological cost of effortlessness. Effortlessness feels good in the short term. But meaning is often tied to effort. Accomplishments feel hollow when they require no struggle. Outcomes feel less satisfying when effort is invisible. Convenience reduces friction, but also reduces significance. Life becomes smoother, but flatter. 13. Convenience as a design philosophy. Modern systems are optimized for ease. Ease of use. Ease of access. Ease of consumption. Rarely are they optimized for growth. Growth requires resistance. Ease eliminates it. This is not accidental. Ease scales. Growth does not. 14. The trade we rarely notice. Convenience trades effort for dependency. The more a system does, the less the individual must. This is efficient. Until autonomy matters. Then the cost appears suddenly. 15. Relearning friction. The solution is not rejection of convenience. It is selective friction. Choosing difficulty where growth matters. Allowing effort where depth is required. Walking without shortcuts. Thinking without prompts. Waiting without distraction. These are not nostalgic acts. They are corrective ones. 16. The quiet rebalancing. Reintroducing friction does not feel productive. It feels slow. It feels inefficient. But it rebuilds capacities that convenience quietly erodes. Patience. Focus. Problem solving. These are not outdated skills. They are foundational ones. 17. Living with awareness. Convenience is not the enemy. Unexamined convenience is. When ease becomes automatic, awareness becomes optional. The cost is paid gradually. Not in dramatic failures. But in subtle diminishment. 18. A different measure of progress. Progress is often measured by speed and ease. But human capacity grows through resistance. The question is not how much effort can be removed. It is how much is worth preserving. 19. The invisible exchange. Every convenience offers a silent exchange. Less effort now. Less capacity later. This exchange is rarely disclosed. But it is always present. 20. Closing reflection. Convenience makes life easier to live. But not always better to inhabit. The challenge is not to escape convenience. It is to remain capable within it. To choose effort deliberately. To accept friction when it matters. To remember that ease is a tool, not a teacher. Because what convenience removes quietly, life eventually asks for loudly. And by then, the cost is no longer hidden.